See, I really hate when this shit happens. I mean, we already have everything written up, and then, breaking news. But I guess it breaks before the show is better than it breaking after the show, because then the show's kind of become useless. Coming to you pre-tape from the Best Coast Show studios, this is the Best Coast Show. I'm your host, Albert Aguilera. That's my producer, Curtis Stage. Curtis, it seems like times they are changing here in Los Angeles.
Yes, I'd like to talk Dodgers, but we've been talking Dodgers.
We've been doing a lot of off-season Dodger talk.
It's because the Dodgers are good.
Well, yeah, I guess.
There's a possibility that they're going to win.
They're better.
They're better than the other teams.
Current teams that are playing in Los Angeles at the moment.
But, Albert, we haven't had a Lakers and Kings episode in a while, so we do have to talk those two teams.
Yes.
Fortunately or unfortunately for us. The Lakers are 19-39. They're the third worst in basketball, not just the Western Conference. Here's the real problem, 104 points that they've scored on average, but they give up 111 points allowed, so that's not good. They have the worst defense in the Western Conference. Look, the trade deadline is coming up here February 23rd. Are the Lakers going to make any deals? There's been rumors about a few players. And we got to continue our fake news segment, which I really thought was successful last time.
People actually took well to the fake news segment.
I liked it. So we're going to do fake news again. You're going to try to challenge me to see if I know if a story is real or not, right? Is that how we're going to do it?
We don't have a guest today.
We don't have a guest today, yeah. Then we got to talk about the Kings. They're 28, 26, and 4. They're 60 points. They're 10th in the Western Conference. They're 2 games behind Calgary, so that's not bad, but they're kind of middle of the pack. So we got to talk about the Kings. 2.4 goals for and goals allowed. So they're pretty much a 500 team when we're talking about how many goals they score and how many they give up. They're 5th in the point. What is it? The power play.
We're 5th in the kill.
5th in penalty kill, but 23rd in power play goals allowed. Right?
No, that's the other way around.
What? They're 23rd.
We're 5th where we kill defensively.
Oh, that's
on
good.
the kill. Defensively, we're 5th. 23rd when scoring on the power play, which is absolute garbage.
So that's not good.
No,
Okay,
not at
so
all.
we got to talk about that. Carter, though, has 53 points, which is pretty good. And he's, second in the league in scoring?
Yeah, behind Crosby.
So that's good.
Yeah.
But then, we need other people to step up. Do the Kings make any trades? The trade deadline for the Kings is coming up here pretty soon, too. So, Albert, let's get started.
We're going to get started with some breaking news, which is not going to be breaking by the time you see this episode, because like we always say at the top of the show, this is a pre-tape show. But, Curtis, we have breaking news. We were literally... guys, we were literally setting up cameras and doing all this thing when my phone goes, zzz, zzz, I got an alert, and then Curtis got the same alert, and we look at each other and we're like, Magic Johnson has now become the, vice president? No, has become the president of basketball operations for the Los Angeles Lakers, and Mitch Kupchak, the GM since 2000, has been fired, and so has part owner Jim Buss. How do you fire an owner?
Well, he is relieved of his duties as
He got fired
president.
by his sister. His older sister fired him.
That kind of sucks.
That's how awkward is Thanksgiving going to be this year?
It's not going to be good. But he knew it was coming. I mean, he had to have known. Look, he gave himself a 3-year window. Remember 3 years ago, he said, we're going to be back in contention for an NBA championship in 3 years. That was 3 years ago. This 4-year stretch is the worst in Laker history. And Jim Buss has made, Buss and Kupchak have made a few things, a few positive moves in the last couple of years, but overall, they've just had, it's been a couple bad luck things, but overall, they've been terrible. And so a change had to be made. Otherwise, we're not getting anybody in. Is Magic Johnson the best player, the best person to bring in?
Absolutely not.
Why, Albert?
Because he's a basketball player that says really stupid things on Twitter. And not stupid like how I say stupid things on Twitter.
Or Trump says stupid things.
Yeah, or like Trump says stupid things on Twitter.
Magic
Johnson says things like, well, in order to win, you got to score more points.
Okay.
That's like, yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
And just because you're loved by the fans, and Jeannie Buss seems to love you because you've been friends since like 1970, and... just because you were like one of the best basketball players of all time does not mean it's going to translate into you being a business operations person.
Well, the idea is...
When he was getting thrown into this mix, they're like, what would you do to fix the Lakers? The first thing I'd do is call Kobe Bryant. Oh, God.
Okay, that's interesting.
Can we suspend his Twitter account? Like everyone keeps saying that they should suspend Trump's. Can we suspend Magic Johnson's Twitter account?
Well, I don't know what he's going to be tweeting about now. I mean, some people would say that he tweeted his way to this job.
Yes, and you have to understand now that when he's still working with the Dodgers, but he's no longer like just the face because he's now doing stuff with the Lakers. He gave up his position with the Lakers when he went to the Dodgers and was able to say anything he wanted about the Lakers. Now, as the president of operations for the Lakers, he can't because it's going to be seen as tampering. So now he really has to be careful what he says when he tweets.
Okay, here's the deal with Magic. Young players around the league, realize that this person is an iconic player in NBA history. So he has a little bit more pull in the room than Jim Buss. Yes, he does.
No,
he has more pull in the room.
I'm sorry. If I'm an NBA player, I'm like, I don't give a fuck who the GM is or who the president is or whatever it is. I need to be on a team that can compete, and I need to get paid. I don't care who the GM is. I don't care. Look, I don't care if I grew up with Magic Johnson's poster on my wall.
Which I did.
Okay, if I'm an NBA player, I'm going to, and I'm like elite level, I'm like, okay, salary cap keeps going up every year. I need money, and more money.
And you want some good players around you.
Oh, sure you do, but I don't care who the GM is. I need money.
The Lakers have been so poor at negotiating recently, it seems like. And their draft has been somewhat decent in the last couple years. But, there's been some mistakes that were even made there.
But whose fault is that? Is it Mitch Kupchak's fault?
Both.
Who, since the year 2000, has given the Lakers like 6 championships? Or is it Jim Buss, who over the last 3 years, we've had the last 4 years of the worst seasons in L.A., or not even L.A., just in Lakers franchise history?
The thing about Jim Buss is he's made some good decisions and he's made some bad ones. I mean, his willingness to hold on to Andrew Bynum has historically been a terrible idea. This is a kid who he thought was going to be the next Shaq and was clearly not even couldn't be Shaq's ball boy. But we kept holding on to that guy.
When Andrew Bynum was healthy, he was a really great player. But he was only healthy for like a season and a half.
But his head wasn't even screwed on right. I mean, he was like, and then giving money to Mozgov. Whose idea was that?
I told you that would happen. As soon as the salary cap went up, I told you there would be subpar, mediocre, garbage players making $20 million a year. And out of desperation, because nobody wanted to come play with Kobe Bryant, out of desperation, the Lakers were like, okay, we need a quote-unquote big man. He just won a championship. Okay, let's overpay this guy.
Okay, so Magic
Johnson, doesn't even play.
He doesn't even play. He's going to make $18 million a year. Does not play, which I'm a fan of because we need to give these young guys an opportunity.
We got to give Zubac some playing time.
Zubac's better than Mozgov. Dang doesn't even play now. Barely. His minutes have gone way down. Magic is going to bring in a GM. So this is going to be a big hire for the Lakers because this person's going to be working with Magic, and this person has to be a basketball mind. There's some rumors that that Jerry West's son is going to be elevated to GM. He's been the assistant GM. That would be interesting.
His father did a ton of really great work for us.
Could be considered the greatest GM.
Could it be one of those like apple doesn't fall too far from the tree deals?
I think
we would hope so.
That's what you hope. So there's that possibility. Or do we bring in somebody from the outside? Does Phil Jackson come back into the Lakers fold now?
That would be so funny.
But they broke up.
They broke up.
But the Lakers organization, Magic still loves.
But look what Phil Jackson has done with the Knicks as the GM.
Sabotaged.
You think he sabotaged them?
Completely. No, well, he hasn't sabotaged, but he's really trying to get rid of Carmelo Anthony, and nobody wants him. Which I get that he should be trying to get rid of Carmelo, but what are you gonna do? No
one wants to play with Carmelo either. The guy's got a really shitty attitude. When he got called to be like, "Hey, bro, we want you in the All-Star game," he literally went, "Ah, man, like." Yeah, now, the vacation I had planned, I'm not going to get refunded for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Fine, I'll go play.
So Magic's next job, of course, is to bring in a GM. That will happen over the next couple days, I'm sure. I'm sure he's been thinking about this for a couple weeks. This is not something that just was all of a sudden. I think this happened when we did not get DeMarcus Cousins. That was their last. Right? This was their last-ditch effort for Jim and Mitch to save their jobs.
Now, after DeMarcus Cousins got traded, Vlade Divac, former Laker, that we traded in order to get Kobe Bryant, who is now the GM of the Kings, flat out said, "Hey, a couple days ago I had a better offer, but we didn't go for it."
No, we don't know if that was from the Lakers.
Now, was it from the Lakers? I don't know.
There's rumors that the Kings wanted Brandon Ingram. Would you have done that? This kid's got potential.
He's got potential, but we already know what DeMarcus Cousins can do. And
he's the best center in the league.
Yeah.
And you can build around him because he's still young, and he's a beast, and he would be great in L.A. I say you pull that deal off, and maybe that was part of the thinking is that Magic.
I say you should have done it because the Lakers still have a top 3 protected draft pick this year.
Well, they would have won about 10 more games just having DeMarcus Cousins in the lineup.
You think so?
Yes. But would they have had to have gotten rid of Randall and Ingram? You still hold on to Clarkson and D'Angelo Russell, and then you've got Nance, and you've got – I mean, that's still a decent team. And then you get a top 3 pick at the end of the season.
That's protected because with the DeMarcus Cousins deal, they also wanted our first-round draft pick. But it's not something you can give up if it's protected.
No, yeah.
But I think, like you said, they would have won an additional 10 games. So had they won the additional 10 games, then that first-round draft pick would have gone to the Kings.
They would have slipped out. So the Lakers right now are in a, look, this team is, we've said this before, they're a better team than last year.
By 2 games.
By 2 games already. They have a better coaching system already than they did the last 4 years. I like what they're doing on the court. The players... they're young players still, so they give up in situations that they have a game kind of in hand, or they're close in a game. They make games exciting, but sometimes they just completely give up, and that's young players too. This team it's about a direction. That's the problem. This is about a direction, and now you're asking Magic to take them in a direction. Magic doesn't seem to me to be like a rebuilding type of guy.
Magic doesn't seem to be an anything type of guy to me. And again,
well, he's never run a team before.
He's never run a team before. He's never done business operations like this before. Like he had a chain of gyms and a chain of fat burgers, but that's not the NBA.
And movie theaters.
And movie theaters. And he was a great basketball player, but I've only ever met the guy once.
Yeah.
Right? I never had any discussions with him about anything other than, hey, bro, why don't you sign Greinke already? And that we all saw how that went.
Yeah.
But just following him on Twitter, I'm just like, really? You cannot be in charge of a franchise.
Well, we'll see. But he is now.
But he is now.
So, but the thing is, I think what Laker fans are most kind of upset about is which direction are we going in? Are we going the direction of let's stick with the rebuild?
No, I think Laker fans are going to be happy because here's the thing with Laker fans. Laker fans, Dodger fans are ignorant to nostalgia. They'll be like, yeah, Magic Johnson, we're going to turn it around. Showtime's back.
But the thing is,
Showtime's back. And we're going to be like, no, stupid. He doesn't know how to do any of this stuff.
But the thing is,
so let's hope he builds a good team.
But the thing is, we always have Magic here. It doesn't matter.
No, listen, as a human being and as a community person, I think Magic Johnson's fantastic. Yeah. As a former athlete, I think he's fantastic. Did I like the fact that he was the face of my Dodger franchise? Absolutely not. Do I like that he's the new president of operations for the Lakers? No. This guy has no idea what he's doing in that sense. Now, as a human being and a person with the community, Magic Johnson's the man. Plain and simple. The dude's awesome.
Well, we'll find out if he has no idea what he's doing. I think he has a little bit of idea. Does he have better ideas than Jim Buss?
Well, here's the thing. Like, you're saying that they need to bring in a basketball mind. Now, is he a basketball person? No. Absolutely, he's a basketball person.
Well, he's not a basketball mind.
But he is not a basketball mind.
Yeah.
That I can tell you.
You think he can evaluate? I mean, he won't be in charge really of evaluating players. His job is to put someone there to put a team together that can successfully evaluate players. That's what Jim Buss's job was supposed to be. Was not supposed to be to evaluate players. It was to put a team together to do that. But he got involved in that.
I think Magic Johnson going to do the same thing.
Okay.
And he's going to try to get involved in the recruiting process, and he can't do that now because it's like against NBA rules. He can't be tweeting at other players. He can't be making comments about, hey, I would have totally loved to have LeBron on my team. You can't do that. It's tampering. You can't do shit like that anymore.
Well, he won't do that.
And I just think he feels that because of his pop culture presence, that it would be easier for him to bring players in here. And like I told you, if I'm an NBA player that is like
you don't think that's
all-star level elite athlete type, I'm like, I don't give a fuck who my GM is. I need to get paid, and I as an NBA athlete am better at recruiting than any GM, than any coach, because I hang out with Joe Schmo in the offseason, and Joe Schmo trains with me when we're not like playing against each other.
So that's interesting.
The way Dwayne Wade set up the big three down in Miami, and the way that they had Garnett go to the Celtics, just all that came with, hey,
players.
I'm going to be on a boat in South Beach throwing a party. You should come. That's how that shit happens.
So it's player-driven. When we get these dynasties, it's player-driven.
It's player-driven now.
It's not the GM doesn't matter.
Nope.
So does Magic even need a GM?
I mean, I don't know what the rules are, but I'd imagine that you would. I mean, you could be like Doc Rivers, who's like the GM and the head coach and like basically runs the Clippers.
He might do that. And then the question will be, will Magic run the Lakers deeper into the ground? You think maybe that's a possibility?
I don't think it's a possibility that they get even worse than they are. We're not going to be the New Jersey Nets.
Okay, we're not going to
because we're still the Lakers.
We're still the Lakers.
People are still going to want to come to Los Angeles for some reason or another, and at the same time, we have like $40 million we can give to somebody.
Okay, so we, just going into the final kind of stretch here of the season and through the trade deadline, we're the worst defensive team in the league. We can score pretty well, but we can't play defense, and if we make a trade that the rumor is that
Jimmy
we trade
Butler.
Well, okay, that's one rumor, but likely Lou Williams is the player the Lakers are going to deal.
Okay,
he's got a friendly contract of $7 million, a year. He is a pure scorer. He doesn't play defense. The knock on him against really good defensive players is he gets shut down. But he can come in off the bench for a playoff-bound team and score. Do you trade Lou Williams? He's 30 years old. Do you trade him before the deadline on Thursday?
If I can, sure.
To get a pick.
To get a pick, to get some kind of compensation, because in the offseason, this season's been over since December.
Okay.
The season's been over since...
When they went on that 10-game losing streak.
When I bring in a new GM, I want to be able to say, listen, bro, you have all the money in the world, and we're the Lakers. We don't have a problem going into the luxury tax.
Yeah.
And you have a top 3 pick.
So you're saying tank it for the rest of the season like we did the last 2 years.
If we can, right now, we're one game better than the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
We could totally downplay the Phoenix Suns and let them, like, in head-to-head matchups, just beat us so that we can get the number 2 pick
again. They did beat
us
the last game we played.
Right, and the thing with it is, they could get the number 1 overall pick. They're guaranteed a top 3 pick.
Yes.
It's a lottery, so they have the opportunity to potentially get the number 1 draft pick.
Okay, but can Laker fans go 7 years? I mean, that'll be 7 years total for, if we are waiting another 3 years for a star player, let's say like Lonzo Ball from UCLA, to develop. We're talking about 7 years where we don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, well, I honestly, I don't know. I mean, Laker fans are really like, I don't want to say suicidal, but they're always just kind of like, we win 2-3 in a row.
We expect championships.
But you win 2-3 games in a row, and Laker fans are like, we're going to the playoffs.
Okay.
But you're right. Los Angeles is the city that hangs banners. The Lakers have the most banners. It's kind of like Yankee fans not making the playoffs or something.
It is.
It's like Detroit Red Wings. This will be the first year in like 30 years they don't make the playoffs. Yeah. And it's like, being my age, you're accustomed to winning a championship every 3 years or less.
Yeah. Well, the problem is young fans, the 10, 12-year-olds, they haven't experienced a Lakers championship.
Yeah, but they don't count. Basketball, honestly, it's really hard for me to
But that's how you build the next generation.
Yeah, but it's hard for me to consider a basketball fan when they're not even into the game. They're more into the culture of the game. And it's like, hey, look at these shoes. And you're just like,
no, the kids are starting to play at that age. They're starting to play at 10, 11, 12, and they don't want to be a Laker player. They're certainly playing them in video games. They don't pick the Lakers as their team anymore. When that's all you always did was pick the Lakers. That's your team when you play when you're playing NBA.
Now, I think young fans nowadays are more fans of a player than they are a team.
That has happened in the NBA. Since Jordan, I think that's kind of happened. All right, Albert, let's do some fake news.
Fake news? Yes, we're back with fake news. All right, guys, so we're going to do some fake news, and let's get started.
I love the Mexican people. I am the least racist person that you have ever met. You are fake news.
All right, Curtis, so fake news number 1. Magic Johnson has already contacted Kobe Bryant to be the next GM of the Lakers.
Oh, shit. I haven't been looking on my computer. That could be real. I don't know.
I'm saying because he did say his first call would be to Kobe Bryant.
Oh, he said that last week. Yeah.
Yeah, he did say that last week.
I don't.
So is that fake news?
I think that's fake news. I do not think Kobe would be the GM of the Lakers. I think he'd be a special assistant or something. But I think Kobe wants to own stuff, and I don't think he wants to have the pressure of being a GM.
As a GM, he would own players.
Okay, true. Nobody'd want to play for Kobe.
No, nobody wanted to play with him. I don't think people would come and play for him.
So is that fake news?
That is fake news.
Oh, fake news. Okay, I got one right.
All right, here we go. Fake news story number 2. Jeff Carter has taken Adrian Kempe out suit shopping after Kempe made his NHL debut last week.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Because I bet you he'd look good in the suit too.
This is like a lady's story, kind of, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is like, where would they have gone? I mean,
Well,
like
LA.
right after the game?
No, the game was at 7 o'clock. I actually went to that game, so they were not going to go suit shopping at 11 p.m. They were off the very next day, though.
Suit shopping. I mean, the kid's only playing like 10 minutes per game. He doesn't deserve to go. What does he need a suit for? Like for the playing?
Well, you gotta suit up when you get to the arena.
Okay, I'm going to say that's true. I'm going to say Kempe didn't have any good suits.
That is false. That
So
is
he
also
did.
fake news.
Okay, but that's a good one though.
That is a good fake news story.
Okay.
Okay, last fake news story. Here we go. DeMarcus Cousins' agent has insinuated that after the failure to trade DeMarcus Cousins to the Lakers, that he would ultimately end up in Los Angeles as a free agent.
Oh yeah, that's true. I think DeMarcus Cousins is not staying in New Orleans. He's going to come back to California. He wants to be a Laker. I think he wants to follow in the footsteps of Shaq for sure. He's always wanted to do that. So I think that's true.
That is not fake news. That is actually true. His agent did say that last week.
Nice. And that could happen.
So you went 1 for 3 on this week's
No,
fake
I went
news
2.
story.
I got the first one right.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
So you went 2 for 3.
2 for 3.
That's not bad.
No, it's not bad. Let's talk Kings.
Kings. Man. It's hard. It's hard going to the games.
It's at least they're around 500.
Yeah, well, okay, guys. So the Kings are 2 points out of the number 8 seed. They're 2 points behind Calgary, who is a division opponent. The Kings, it's a broken record with us and the Kings and everything that we talk about, because ultimately the Kings just need offense. You're giving up 2.4 goals against, and you're only scoring 2.4, so you're right there.
Yeah.
They're -3 on the differential, and the only person scoring is Jeff Carter. Jeff Carter is 29 goals in. He's 3 behind the lead in the NHL behind Crosby. He's the only person scoring for us. Kopitar is 6 goals,
Kopitar?
27 assists. I mean, I've always said that Kopitar is the kind of guy that is the facilitator type.
He is.
Selke Award winner, two-way center. That's his number one priority. But you got to give me some goals, man.
6 is not enough this deep into the season.
Like, we're 50-some games into the season. I would expect him to have 20 goals and like 35 assists. I will always expect Andrei Kopitar to have twice as many assists as he does goals.
Sure, he's a facilitator.
Yeah. So even if it was 15 and 30, I would be more okay with that. But being 6 and 27?
And I asked you if maybe he's hurt or something.
That's upsetting.
I mean, is he...
He's not hurt. He's played in all 51, 52 games.
Yeah, so, I mean, I wonder what's going on with him. Is he just not... Is another part of the line letting him down? I mean, what's going on?
People are like, oh, his line mates haven't been there. Well,
I mean, because a case can be made for that.
All year they've rotated. They rotated Marian Gaborik after he came back from injury. He had Setaguchi before Setaguchi was waived.
Yeah.
They put Jeff Carter up top with him. So
they've tried different combinations.
They've tried different combos, and yeah, it's working from a facilitator standpoint with his 27 assists. He's just not scoring.
Yeah, they need him to get some goals because they're not going to break out of this. 500.
I mean, let's say we do make the playoffs. Well, you make the playoffs as the 8th seed. You're going up against Minnesota, who's been on fire.
Yeah,
four of the 5 plus minus differentials in the NHL belong to the Minnesota Wild.
They're looking pretty good right now. That would be a tough playoff match. I mean, I wouldn't. Maybe the Kings are saving something up. We were going to have John Rosen on, and we were going to ask.
He actually he hit me up this morning. John just landed in Colorado.
Yeah.
So he couldn't come on the show with us today because he's like, dude, I literally just got to Colorado.
Yes.
And we're like, no worries. Maybe we could do something after the trades, right? And so it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Because the Kings are right up against the cap roof like they always are, the ceiling. And they did make a trade with the Capitals to get rid of Tom Gilbert.
So that's a money shedding deal.
That was money shedding, 100%. They're keeping 20% of his payroll, which is about $300,000.
Yeah.
But it's a conditional 5th-round pick from the Capitals. So the Capitals have to make the playoffs and go at least 2 rounds. And Gilbert has to play in at least 50% of the games that they are in the playoffs.
And Gilbert's not that good of a player. I mean,
he's not, but
they need a defenseman over there.
They need a defenseman. So, like, the Kings are like, okay, we know you've already locked up a playoff spot, basically.
Yeah.
The Capitals are the Capitals. So they'll go into the second round and probably get eliminated in the second round.
Yeah.
And
whether he plays 50 games, though.
Well, yeah, whether or not he plays 50% of the games.
Or 50%. Okay.
Is a different story. But it's a 5th-round pick this year, next year, and in 2019. The Kings have all their draft picks as of right now. They have all of their draft picks.
The Kings are going younger, it looks like. I mean, there is...
Well, kind of. And that's,
I mean, we have a little bit of a balance, but there's something off right now about this team. I mean,
right. This year, I mean, Kempe finally got called up. They let Gravel play due to emergency reasons. You
were at that game.
I was at that game with Kempe.
Now, how did he look in person?
In person, he's fast.
Yeah,
he is fast. And I don't want to say that he looked out of place, but you can tell that he was kind of like, holy shit, I'm in the NHL.
So he's a little nervous.
You can tell that he had nerves. He played 15 minutes in that game. He had a really good opportunity for a breakaway goal. We ended up losing that game, I believe, 3-2. But
so he looked okay.
He looked okay.
And he's played 3 games.
He's played 3 games, but his minutes have dropped in every game since his debut.
Okay, yeah. It's going to take him a little while to kind of get into it. But they're, it seems like Lombardi every year, though, pulls something off to just get them
and the
to
last
that
couple
next
of years,
level.
he couldn't have done that. He couldn't do that because we had the cap problems and we had no draft picks.
That's right. But now we have draft picks.
But now we have draft picks. But this bit him in the ass in the Sekera deal. Does he want to trade away his number 1 draft pick this coming year for something in hopes of making the playoffs? Because a lot of people, a lot of bloggers, a lot of people on the radio, a lot of people on NHL have been saying, if the Kings don't make the playoffs or make a decent run into the playoffs this year, that Lombardi and Sutter may be gone.
I don't know.
I don't buy that.
I don't.
I mean, I think they're a great tandem. I just think in terms of hockey operations, they're very stubborn. They draft large players. They play a physical style of hockey, and they want the goon type that can also kind of handle the puck. I think the league has evolved where, sure, you look at the Kings, they're always number 1, number 2 in Corsi, number 1, number 2 in puck possession, and they're beating up other teams. They have more hits than other teams. They're just not shooting the puck. They're just not scoring.
Yeah.
And I think that's something they need to do.
But a trade is not going to get them an elite scorer at this point.
It helped in 2012 and 2014.
But they had...
Columbus gave us their wing, and Gabrick came in and helped us win. He should have won the Conn Smythe that year.
Well, Albert, what did the Kings give up for Gabrick?
They gave up Matt Fratton. They gave up a second-round pick and a conditional third, and Matt Fratton doesn't even play in the league anymore.
Okay, so...
But yeah, that's what was happening. We were giving up the first-round draft picks. Mm-hmm. And in 2015, we did the same thing. Sekera's deal didn't work out. He ended up getting hurt. We missed the playoffs by, I think, 1 point that year. But this year, we're 2 points out of a playoff spot. We got 30 games left, I believe. Yeah, and 2 points for...
It's fine.
It's literally 1 game difference.
Yeah.
So they're okay, but you have to look at it like this. The West is really bad this year. They've gone 2-8 in their last 10 games. And they're 2 points out of a playoff spot.
So they haven't dug themselves a hole.
Had they gone 500, they would be the number 6 seed right now.
Yeah. So I don't think we count the Kings out just yet.
You don't count them out, especially not the way Dean Lombardi likes to do things. The trade deadline is March 1st. That means they got 10 days. Between now and 10 days, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, some people have said, hey, Kempe finally got called up because he's been playing really well down in Ontario. And how do you pronounce it? Ontario, whatever. Lindsay's not here. Ontario. And they're like, hey, let's give him a cup of tea. We can showcase him.
Really?
So that might be a thing. I don't know. Who else? Oh, and Ledoux. Apparently the Rangers have been scouting Ledoux. They need a defenseman that can shoot right-handed.
Yeah.
And the Rangers have been at all of our practices, and they've been down in Ontario. So there could be something brewing with the Rangers because the Rangers need help defensively. They need some depth. But honestly, I have no idea who the Kings could go after. That's a legit top 6 forward. And it's going to be the guy that kind of takes them into the playoffs. Yeah. That's going to help Jeff Carter because Pearson started the year off really hot.
Yeah.
He's cooled off significantly. And then Toffoli missed like a month.
Yeah.
So these dudes, the 70s line needs to start scoring because, we're a 500 team. We're giving up what we're scoring, and that's not going to help you win games.
And what's our update on Quick?
Oh, Quick mid-March. They said mid-March. So at this point, if he's coming back in the middle of March, shut him down.
He's not going to be ready. Yeah.
Shut him down.
He's not going to be ready.
If for any reason the Kings are in a 7-6 spot,
no reason.
Okay, let him play afterwards. But if we're clearly not making the playoffs or we're struggling to make the playoffs,
no reason.
Shut him down.
Yeah. No reason to even push that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Albert, what is our gift of the day?
Guys, our gift of the day, this is former Lakers GM Mike Kupchak, just staring off into space, like looking at the disaster that was the last 4 years of Lakers history because it was the worst 4 years in Lakers history.
Yeah. He's probably got to be somewhat relieved that he's no longer.
He's gonna get a job tomorrow.
I don't think so.
The guy's got 6 championships.
I think he's
does he have
retire.
6? How many does he have?
He's got a ton. He's been around with the Lakers for a long time.
No, as the GM though, because as the assistant GM, he was under Jerry Buss.
Yes,
but he as the GM has how many?
6.
6, right?
Yeah.
And all Kobe
or maybe
era.
No, 5 because Jerry West in 2000 that was his last year.
Okay, so then
he's got 5. I think. 5 where it was under his watch. I think he's going to retire.
You think so?
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's got to be close to retirement age. I don't know. He's got enough money, I'm sure.
He's got enough money, but
what team's going to want him now?
Yeah, but here's the thing. He's got a proven track. It's like being a Super Bowl winning coach. You'll have a job for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And he's won 5 and helped with a 6th NBA.
You know what he'll probably do? He'll go and hang out with Phil in New York, and he'll be like an assistant to Phil.
You think so?
Yeah. They're like best friends.
That's true.
Yeah.
Or maybe Phil Jackson comes to the Lakers and becomes the GM.
No.
Even though they broke up, they're still friends.
I think that's done too. I think we're in a new era happening now. New era.
All right.
Kobe era? Kobe era?
No.
No Kobe
guys,
era?
anyways, but yeah, no Kobe era. Guys, anyways, that's been our show. Don't forget to stalk us on Twitter at Best Coast Show. Don't forget to check out our website for all the blog posts, articles, and updates, bestcoastshow.com. Don't forget about the softball tournament. It's going to be April 29th. We are working on T-shirt designs so that we can give everybody on our team a shirt that they can wear so we're all a little bit more uniform.
Yes.
That way we'll look even cooler when we win.
We'll have our Dodger hats, but we'll have Best Coast shirts.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And then you guys can find us on all the podcast outlets on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and really where podcasts are heard.
Yep.
But that's been our show, and you guys have a good night.